The desert is not silence. It is thirst given shape. Sunlight burns into cracked earth, where nothing moves, where every step is a wager between life and the void. Imagine standing here with no tools, no maps, no wells, no pipes humming beneath the ground, just bare hands, a mouth drying by the hour, and the relentless truth that water is hidden, not absent. 5.9 million years ago, survival began not with fire, not with the hunt, but with the search for what could not be seen water. How did our ancestors trace the invisible veins beneath the sand? What instincts guided them when one wrong turn meant extinction? And what does this ancient struggle reveal about our modern cities, where water flows endlessly, summoned with the twist of a hand? The scene opens with a band of early hominins crossing a barren expanse. Their shadows stretch thin across the sand, bodies bowed by the weight of heat. Skin glistens not from abundance, but from what the sun steals. They pause often, scanning the horizon, not for predators but for signs of the unseen. A cluster of birds circling low. A lone tree with roots that dare sink deep. The ground's subtle change from pale dust to darker grit. Each signal is a whisper of hope, a thread between life and death. They do not speak. They do not need to. Their movements are language, their gestures, prayer. One matriarch presses her hand to the earth, feeling vibrations, listening for water beneath. Around her, the younger ones watch in silence, their eyes wide, their breaths shallow. A shift in rhythm. The leader raises a hand. The group halts. Ahead, the land dips a dry riverbed, its bones etched into the desert floor. To modern eyes, it is emptiness, but to them, it is a memory. Once water carved this path. Once life flowed here. They descend slowly, their feet kicking up dust that clings to their ankles. The children cling to mothers, the hunters grip stones, though no prey is near. It is not the hunt that matters now. It is endurance. They begin to dig. Fingers claw into hard-packed soil. Nails split skin, tears blood mixes with dust. Still they dig. Stones are used as crude tools, pounding, scraping, hollowing the ground. Hours pass. The sun moves without mercy. Sweat evaporates before it can fall. Some collapse, their bodies too weak to continue, but others take their place. Survival is not shared equally, it is passed like a torch. Suddenly, the soil darkens. Dampness. A soundless cry of triumph moves through them. Hands dig faster. Mud rises beneath their nails. And then water. A slow seep, a glistening pool gathering in the hollow they carved. They lean in, faces close, drinking with desperate gulps. Children first, then elders, then all. Life restored in the most fragile of streams. This moment, this fragile victory is not a feast but a reprieve. It is survival earned by instinct, patience, and unrelenting will. But across time, this same need, the thirst, the desperation, the relief echoes into our modern world. Today, we turn a handle, and endless streams pour forth, clean, invisible, unquestioned. Pipes carry rivers beneath streets. Towers store reservoirs above skylines. We rarely see the struggle, the digging, the waiting. But beneath every city lies the same truth. Without water, all collapses. 5.9 million years ago, water was a god. Today, it is a service. Yet, in deserts, still where cities end, the lesson of our ancestors lingers. Survival is measured not by what is visible, but by what lies hidden beneath the surface. The desert night does not cool, it sharpens. Stars hang distant and merciless, and the earth radiates the day's heat back into the bodies huddled together for survival. The small pool they uncovered is shallow barely enough for a single day. They know it will not last. The matriarch, her hands raw and bleeding from digging, crouches beside the water. She watches it tremble with every touch as if the earth itself resents what was stolen. Around her, the children sleep curled into the shadows of their mothers, while the hunters remain awake scanning the dunes. Predators thirst too, and where there is water, there will be eyes watching from the dark. Morning breaks in fire. Sand glitters like broken glass, blinding in its reflection. Already the water is shrinking, absorbed by the ground stolen by the sun. The group drinks sparingly, cupping precious drops in their palms, pressing them to cracked lips. This ritual is not joy, it is calculation. Who drinks? Who waits? Who suffers? The unspoken balance of survival weighs heavier than hunger. To find more water, they must move again. But each step costs them strength. Each breath burns them thinner. The matriarch rises. Her body sways, yet her gaze is fixed far beyond the horizon. She does not walk with haste. She measures her steps like a drumbeat, a steady anchoring the others in her rhythm. They follow. Children stumble but are lifted. Elders falter but are guided. It is not compassion that binds them, it is necessity. A single death slows the group. Risks, predators, risks, despair. To survive, all must move as one. They come upon a formation of stone rising from the dunes, jagged and ancient. In its shadow, the air shifts cooler, faint with the whisper of life. Plants cling to cracks in the rock, brittle yet alive. The matriarch kneels again, pressing her ear to the stone. She listens. The earth does not speak in words, but in tremors, in the faint hum of roots pulling from something hidden below. She signals. The group begins to dig once more, not in sand this time, but in gravel and dust. The work is harder, slower. The young men pound stone against stone, sparks flying, the echo carrying into the hollow air. Fingers bleed anew, and then a trickle. Not clear, not abundant, dark, mineral-rich, bitter. But it is water. They scoop it, lift it, sip it. Some cough at the taste, but their eyes brighten. They have found another breath of time. The children press their lips to their mother's hands as drops are shared one by one. The pool grows slowly, reluctantly, as if testing whether they are worthy. Across epochs, this image mirrors itself in our cities. Towers pump water upward with mechanical force, filling glass bottles that line supermarket shelves. Underground networks channel rivers beneath streets, invisible arteries sustaining millions. No one claws the ground. No one bleeds into the dust. And yet in times of drought, when rivers dry and reservoirs shrink when taps sputter air, the panic resurfaces the same primal fear etched into the bones of our ancestors. The desert teaches a truth our cities often forget. Water is never owned, only borrowed. 5.9 million years ago, survival depended on honoring that truth. Today, as our world warms, as drought spreads, we may find ourselves digging once more, not with stone tools, but with machines repeating the ritual of searching, waiting, hoping. The sun tilts westward, and shadows stretch long across the desert floor. The group rests by the stone pool, but rest is only a pause in the relentless march of survival. The children's eyes are heavy, their small bodies pressed against the earth, as if trying to steal strength from the stone itself. Elders watch with silent urgency, knowing this water too will vanish, swallowed by the sand, the sky, the endless thirst of the desert. Survival here is never permanence. It is reprieve, strung together day by day, moment by moment. They move again. The desert changes with each step, dunes rising like waves, winds shifting patterns into the sand. At times, the land itself seems alive, mocking their persistence, erasing their footprints as though they never existed. A young hunter falters, collapsing to his knees. His chest heaves, breath shallow. The others gather, forming a circle. The matriarch kneels beside him, pressing dampened fingers from their last water against his lips. His eyes open faintly, anchored back to life. No one speaks. No one lingers. They rise together, lifting him, carrying his weight as if it were their own. In this moment, survival is not the triumph of strength, but the refusal to abandon weakness. To walk away from one is to weaken all. They move forward, united not by choice, but by the law of existence. The land shifts again, revealing the mirage of distant hills. Heat bends the air, making them shimmer, but the matriarch does not trust illusions. She guides them toward the harder truth, the flight of birds, the path of insects, the lone acacia tree, defiant against the horizon. Each clue is a map, each sign a promise. At last, they reach a cluster of rocks, where rain once gathered, leaving a hollow in the stone. It is dry now, empty, but the scent of dampness lingers, faint but undeniable. The group begins again, the scraping, the pounding, the tearing of earth with fragile flesh. Hours pass. Dust fills their mouths, coats their skin, and then a sound. A hollow crack. The stone yields. From within, water seeps slow and stubborn. The group leans in, faces streaked with sweat and dirt, eyes wide with reverence. They drink. Relief floods through them, not in laughter or celebration, but in silence. This is not joy. This is survival, the simplest, purest victory. The camera of time shifts forward to our cities. Streets glisten with neon, and glass skyscrapers pierce the clouds, and water runs endlessly through pipes, fountains, and showers. A child plays with a hose, spraying arcs into the air as though water were infinite. But beneath the surface, the truth remains. Reservoirs shrink, aquifers deplete, glaciers melt. The ancient struggle does not disappear. It hides, waiting. 5.9 million years ago, our ancestors clawed at the desert for drops of life. Today, we cloak water in infrastructure, in convenience, in invisibility. Yet one failure, one drought, one collapse of supply, and we would be thrust back into that primal ritual of digging, waiting, hoping. The desert is not gone. It is buried beneath our cities, reminding us of what it means to survive. Survival has always been the same story told in different skins, to seek to endure, to share, and to remember that life itself is not guaranteed. The desert made that truth eternal. Our cities only disguise it.